Hello. Welcome to Soul, Wit, and Wisdom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good middle of the night, wherever you are on the planet. Special day today, Earth Day. I found out from my special guest today that it's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and she chose today to do her interview with me, and I'm so excited. This woman really embodies connection and possibility and living in your truth. And those are three kind of cool reasons why I love her so much. There's a whole other list of reasons. She's an amazing human being, and I'm so excited to bring her on. So let me do that now. Yay. Hi, JourneyJill. How are you?
Aloha.
Aloha from Maui. All right, let me give you JourneyJill's legitimate bio. So I just told you how dope she is, but let me just read some of her pretty cool little things that she's done in her life. So she's the founder of the Connection Lounge, and we'll talk about what that is, but it's evolving from a pop-up event to a global network dedicated to elevating consciousness and uniting humanity. She's been a world traveler for over 20 years. She's visited over 70 countries. She has trained with, coached for, and served as an advisor for the leading centers of transformational leadership. I know. She's a certified yoga teacher, facilitator of Lomi Lomi Ha-Loa. I think I said that right. Okay. And which is an ancient Hawaiian shamanic bodywork, which serves as a rite of passage. And she's a passionate event producer. I can attest to that. She actually left her 13-year banking career as a vice president with a Fortune 25 company to what I would say is to really discover herself and create her life with intention. So, JourneyJill, thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I'm so grateful that we get to have this conversation today.
Oh, Kristen, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here as well. I've loved the evolution of what you're up to, and I love having watched you and kind of evolving your spirituality, and it's just so cool to see that you've got this show about it now.
It's so fun. It's so fun. I one of the things that I'm really focusing on is doing the things that light me up, and this is one of them. It came right on the heels of March 12th. For us, where we were, Southern California, I just completed coaching a leadership training program on the 10th. And by the 12th, shit was just getting shut down. NBA got shut. They started canceling everything. And in that moment, I went, what am I being called into right now? And it was instant. It was I know, you do, how powerful transformational leadership work is, personal development work is. I know you've been doing this kind of work forever. I have been doing it forever. And I felt this just calling to pour out for people, to give them something other than fear, to give them something other than that. So thank you for that. It has been it's my thing. I love it. I love it. It's awesome. And I'm so excited that you're here, especially today.
I am so excited that I'm here too. And you are just so funny and keep it so real and give others the permission to do that too. So thank you for the invitation, and thank you for allowing me to have Earth Day.
Yay!
It gives me a little something special to do. And it's so perfect for me right now where I'm at in my journey, right?
Yeah.
I've been taking a stand for connection and at first it was connecting to self, right? And then it was helping people open up to be able to connect to others. And there was a whole element that I wasn't really speaking into, which is connecting to the earth.
Yeah.
Connecting to nature, and that's the path to oneness, right? That's the gateway to spirituality is when you're also really being connected to all that is. And that's really being present to the earth and to, that whole, and this is such a powerful day, having it be the 50th anniversary of this movement, which you're leading a movement right now with this, and I acknowledge you and I see you, and I'm so grateful to be part of your, tribe, moving this forward. But yeah, I'd love to, speak into for everybody here today that's a part of this, that they know how to get connected, and that they have some tools and techniques and, tips on like really what that is going to look like for them and how they can implement it, and that they have, a sense of empowerment.
I love that. So I want to save that. Excuse me, I have a little itch here. I want to save that until a little bit later on. So now you know what you're getting, and you're going to have to stay on to listen to this first part to get that, because that is really profound. And when you were talking about it, I got chills like all the way up and down. And what an amazing opportunity we have right now to allow Mother Earth, to allow Mother Nature to heal, at least just for a little while. And hopefully that we can implement some of this pausing going forward. What I want to talk about first with you is what I ask all of my guests who come on is to really talk about, like, I find it, here's why I really wanted you to come on. You gave up this prestigious 6-figure, high level, high powered career. And I want to talk about like what it actually took for you to do that, because that's profound, especially now, because I really, truly, the energetics of what's happening right now is that people are almost like they're giving themselves permission to really ask themselves, what do I really want? Like, and I just got off a client call earlier this morning, which is like, she's not necessarily in love with what's going on in her business. And she ultimately, like, we've been working together for like 2 years. She ultimately wants to get rid of that and go do this thing. So it's an opportunity for us as individuals and a collective to ask ourselves those questions. Like, what is really important to me? What do I really want? So tell me, just as background and context, what did it take for you? Like, what was the thing? Because really the essence of this show is how leaders rise through adversity, how we take a breakdown, a challenge, something that may be really difficult, and we actually transform it and create an opportunity out of it. So I want you to just share a little bit about your background, how you went from.
Yeah. Awesome. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Well, you hit it on the nose at the beginning when you said that you're doing the show because it lights you up, right? So I had done the Landmark Forum back in 1999, right? So, like, as a senior in high school. So it's been, I've been in that kind of transformational, be thinking outside the box for a really long time. But then once I got into my career, it was like, you're just kind of like going through the motions of climbing the corporate ladder and, getting the different certifications that are going to serve you. And I was still kind of thinking outside the box. Like, I had taken a 6-month leave and done a trip around the world and like came back to the same job. And that's actually how I got my name. JourneyJill was all my coworkers started to call me JourneyJill after I'd like been gone for 6 months traveling the world and then came back to like my little cubicle. And
like the little cubicle,
but at that moment I said, I really want to get a job that's going to pay me to travel the world. And at that point, the company that I worked for was just domestic. And so like, that wasn't really a possibility. And shortly after, they acquired another company that had this whole global footprint, and I got to move into the international group. And then I was able to do business in like 24 countries.
Wow.
So I was feeding that like part of my curiosity and like getting to see the world, but I still wasn't feeling fulfilled by the work that I was doing. And so then in 2015, I was in a seminar called Living Passionately. And I remember
what year was that?
2015.
Have we not discussed that I may have been in that seminar?
Well, I was in San Francisco, and so it was a local seminar, but you might have been in the same curriculum in a different city. Totally. So I'm in there, and they have you like fill out a little postcard to yourself at the beginning, and then you like hand it in, and then they mail it to you a couple months later. And in that moment, I said, you make a commitment, you make a declaration, you set the intention. You don't know how it's going to happen, but I set the intention to do work that I was passionate about. Like and I hadn't been being fulfilled by what I was doing. People would ask me and I'd be like in breakdown about what I did. And it wasn't, it was, it wasn't like, it wasn't like there was anything wrong with it. I ethically felt really sound with the work that I was doing. I felt like I was keeping the integrity of the company and all the things, but it just didn't really feel aligned with my soul. Like I was making good money, but there wasn't really much more to it. And so I made that commitment. And then like a couple weeks later, I had a friend and we were out, and it was Halloween at this point, and we're dancing on the dance floor, and she was moving to Barcelona. And I was just like, I am just so jealous that you're moving. And she's like, come with me, manage my band, book us out a European tour. And I was like, oh, like, it was like someone showed me this like secret door to living life by design, you know? And I was just like, I was like peeking out at like the door would like open for like a split second. And I just like peek out there and think like, what would my life be like? And then I decided to wait till I got my bonus, and then I quit and I master planned this tour, and the rest has been history. That was April of 2016 was my last day in corporate America. And it's been 4 years now of just really exploring, like, does this make me happy? Does this light me up? Am I passionate about this? Is this going to make an impact in the world? Is this helping, you know, is this helping the world?
Yes.
So everything I'm looking at, everything that I'm involved in is like, I look at it through that lens. And I feel so grateful that I created this experience.
So it takes something. I'll just say it takes a lot of courage to leave a career that checked all the boxes. Like, you know, what I'm hearing you say is like, had the title, like had the income, you know, you were doing all the things. And yet you don't even know how happy I am that we're talking about this, because this literally is like what this opportunity is right now for the masses. So for you, because I mean, you chose to walk away from that and go do this thing, which really is, I'm following my heart. I'm following my passion. I'm following, like, I know it isn't this. This has given me so many of the things that we're taught. This is what you do. You know, you go to college, you get the degree, you get the job, you work up the ladder, you get the more money, all of that. And you gave it up. And I find that just so powerful, really, truly. That's
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's the opportunity that I really believe that we're all faced with in this moment. It really is like taking some stock, taking inventory.
100%. And so many people are actually being forced to look at this. I mean, you know, I chose, but I just heard today, one of my best friends, her husband got laid off, right? And they kind of mass laid off a bunch of people. And I mean, there's tons of people. I think that the unemployment rate is up really high right now because of the impact. And so, but this is just, I think if everybody shifts into what an opportunity that this is for them to be thinking, am what I'm doing, is it in alignment with me? You know, and is there something better or more passionate out there for me?
Or a bigger impact. And I heard what you said earlier was like, I get to make a difference. I get to do something that I'm really passionate about. I get to do something that I love. I get to do something that's actually a contribution. I can't even stress how much I really believe that this opportunity is just an opportunity for us to say, am I actually serving in my highest? Am I actually serving other people in my highest? And when I say that, yes, I mean other people, but I also mean like with integrity, like with integrity for the planet. So talk about this, talk about Earth Day and what you see. What do you want to say about all that? Like what's occurring for the planet?
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many different ways that I can take this, but the way that I will take this is that, you know, one way that I've been looking at this is that Mother Earth, like this virus and this moment that we're experiencing right now, she was like, hold on, everybody, time out. What you've been doing is not working. You're on a trajectory that's going to end badly quickly. So you get to like take a little bit of a time out and look and reflect on what's actually happening. And that's the invitation I think that's available for everyone that's watching this now, is like not just, doing their own inner work, but also looking at like everything that they're involved in. What's like the impact that it's having on the environment, right? Like what, not just like understanding like sustainability, but really like impact, from everything that they're consuming to everything that they're, everything that they're involved with. And it also could be in their workplace as well, like making us, being the person that has the voice to take a stand so that there could be the ripple effect to really make things better. I mean, like Yosemite has quadrupled the wildlife in this short amount of time because there's no tourists coming there. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like 4 times more bears than there ever was before. And there's like bald eagles nests. And I mean, like the Mother Earth is totally breathing right now because everybody's on their little time out. But I think before we go back out there, we all get to look and really assess our impact, our footprint.
So that was the word that was coming to me, was the footprint. And I think one of the things that I've been so present to and actually welcomed this lesson was the interconnection, the interconnectivity. You are like the connection queen. The interconnectivity of all of us, not just with each other, but also with the planet. Like there's just so many layers and so many levels of this. If we go into the planet shuts down, and I just mean this not literally, we're indoors, we're grounded, we're not out working, people aren't paying, people are losing their jobs, they don't pay me, I don't pay my mortgage company lays off people. Like if nothing else, see how interconnected we are across the globe, just from a financial standpoint, from a goods and services standpoint, from a exchange of resources standpoint. Like we're all connected. And next level, how connected we are to the impact that we're making, the footprint that we're making on the planet. Like it is unprecedented that we get to do this pause on the 50th anniversary of Earth Day.
Yes. And what you're hitting on right there, I think is cracking into the possibility for a new paradigm around energetic exchange. And so I just want to share this experience that I've created here.
Please do.
I manifested, right? I sourced on, you were giving some dates, right? I sourced moving to Maui on March 9th, right after I finished captaining a transformational team, right? Like right after that, I moved here on March 9th, right when this is all going down.
You're in Maui.
I'm in Maui.
Yeah.
The name of the retreat center is called Black Swan Temple. We are in the middle of the Black Swan event. I've seen it like in articles, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because it's like people don't think that they didn't think that there was black swans, right? So like it's like the unthinkable event. So I'm at this place, right, and the exchange that I negotiated ahead of time, and there's like tons of different sites that I didn't even know are out there that I'll share, but through a site called Yoga Trade, I had decided that I really wanted to live at a retreat center to learn the model and everything. And so I applied to a bunch and I got accepted here, and I'm so grateful to be here. But so it's a work exchange. So I work for them 20 hours a week in exchange for room and board. And part of my role is gardening. So I've been learning all about, harvesting turmeric and bananas and planting pineapples. And, there's a whole food forest. And so it's been like awesome for me to get connected to nature on that deep level, and also to like growing my own food and being a part of that, but also from an energetic exchange of like, I'm actually not paying anything and they're not paying me, but it's an energy exchange where I work for them. And then in return, they're giving me this gift of having the whole retreat center to myself. They didn't know that I was signing up for that. Neither did I, but that's what I sourced. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. It's just amazing. It really is amazing. And that is actually somewhere that I've been going to. It's like, I'm looking at my business, like, what do I actually believe in? Like, how do I want to work with my clients going forward? What ways do I want to work with people? What ways do I love? Like was it before we got on, or was it? No, it was during. It was, just this whole conversation of like, I love doing these interviews. Like I'm called to do them. I feel totally in alignment when I have these kinds of conversations, when I'm actually putting this kind of content out into the world. Honestly, right now, it feels like my gift to the planet. Like I get to just put out messages of, elevation and messages of consciousness and all of that. So, and I'm not getting paid for any of it. And I'm not getting paid for it. And what I'm getting in return, so what I'm hearing you say is, and I started to think about this. If the dollar doesn't have any value right now, and I'm not saying like long term, I'm just saying like right now, what can I give? What can I give? And then people, and it's like, listen, we talked about exchanging toilet paper. I got a big thing of rice. I'm trading people rice. Like, what do you have eggs? Like, this is just occurring naturally. Like that whole system that our financial system was based on is barter. It's like, I've got this, I do this, let me trade you. And I love that you're like, without even knowing that you source this whole like setup.
I love that you're talking about trading other things. The neighbors, they actually were just trading for eggs, bananas for eggs. And like, they were like, well, and they started to break it down into the caloric value of an egg versus a banana, in like looking at different ways to evaluate the value versus like, we charge $8 for the dozen and, we charge $8 for 50 bananas or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, looking at it in different ways. I love that. It's
just an opportunity for us to look at our systems, to look at our beliefs, to look at our consumption. I've been talking about this for so long. Like every Christmas rolls around for at least the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm like, please don't send me more plastic. I mean, I have little kids, it's like toys and I've tried to be like, don't send us anything. Like go put this money towards something else that could actually make a difference somewhere. Like, yeah, do I want my kids to like have toys? Of course I do. And at the same time, I'd rather them learn the value of giving and receiving, because really that's what it's about. Like I just hear and feel and sense that we're just in an opportunity to really look at our exchanges. Like what are we exchanging with each other and also like with the planet?
Yeah, 100%. My family moved to experiences a little while ago. So I don't get anybody gifts. I plan a fun experience for us all to go do together.
Yeah. So talk about the Connection Lounge, because I love this. Like I want you to just talk about it, because you have a really big passion for connection.
I do. Yeah. And thank you so much for the invitation to talk about it. And it's so cool because you were at the first one,
it's the best.
Which is awesome. Yeah. And so it's evolved. Oh, it's, every time that I've done it, it's gotten, better. And right now in this moment, I'm feeling really pulled to taking it online and creating a virtual network. And I've had separate visions out there for uniting like the different leadership communities, as well as just, being a source. And I've like seen it on the Mind Body app, where people are able to like attend a Connection Lounge, like as though it's a Zumba class or something, where it's like, it's a standardized format and experience, facilitated through the mindful mix, which is movement. This is, the first one. And like, I was hearing somebody talk about like a Tony Robbins speech, and he talks about like physiology and, getting into the body. And it's the same thing. It's like getting out of your head and into your body. That's like where you're really getting connected to your true heart's desires and not worrying about what other people think, so I think movement is such a key piece, and it could be anything from yoga to dance parties.
Yep.
Yeah. It could look a number of different ways. So there's going to be an invitation to have different people come and facilitate those pieces. And then we'll move into meditation. And meditation, there's so many different modalities out there, and they're all awesome, right? It's like that. but it could be anything from a guided visualization that like really gets you aligned to your vision, helps you get connected to your values, or it could be breath work that's also getting you there. So there's going to be an invitation to have a lot of different types of meditation that's really just going to help us get connected to ourselves before we move into the third part, which is masterminding. And that's where we'll break into small groups and have the opportunity to, you know, come together to have peer-to-peer guidance and feedback and support, and setting specific goals. There'll be 90-day sprints where people will have the opportunity to set specific goals and then have accountability around those, meeting every other week. So yeah, the vision is continuing to evolve, and
as it always does, right? And I just think it's great because we respond, right? Like we respond to what's being called for in any moment. You know, like I was saying earlier, when the shit hit the fan, and for me, it really occurred like March 12th, where the NBA just canceled everything, and the soccer, whatever that they are, the soccer, please help me.
Federation.
Yeah, whatever. You know, soccer isn't big here in the US. It's big everywhere. Football's big everywhere but here. It's embarrassing. But like, you know, all of the major sports organizations were shutting their events down. And it was a response. So for me, it's a response to what's occurring. And also like it taps into the things that I love the most. And that's what I'm hearing you say is like, of course it's going to, you know, it's going to call for the next thing, whether it's online or whatever. What do you see as possible? Like, what do you see as possible out of the Connection Lounge for people? Like the big picture possibility.
I see a global network uniting healers and transformers all around the world, and really bringing them together and having it be essentially like a global bulletin board for all of the different offerings, and really a place for them to be able to really easily connect to one another. I find right now, because I've been a part of so many different communities, right? And I've traveled to over 70 countries and made it my life's work to like study different cultures and traditions and communities, and they're all so isolated, right? And there's not very much that's like bringing them together. I see the Connection Lounge as being an opportunity of being like a center of excellence, like where they all come together and they unite, and it's like they're equal and they are sharing of wisdom, and really all with the mission of elevating consciousness and uniting humanity.
Just elevating consciousness and uniting humanity, like whatever, like just another day at the office, another day in my cubicle. My cubicle called the planet. Like my cubicle is the planet. I love it. I love that you said that. Okay, I want you to share one thing. What is a time for you in your life where you really like something broke down, or there was some sort of you know, a challenge? It could be a really devastating challenge, or something that's like, you know, you learned who you are at your essence through the resilience of rising up out of the circumstance. Because that is really like the through line and the theme for this series, is just how, like, share with us a time when life was shitty for you, or you were in a massive breakdown, and what you learned about yourself, others, the world, that helped you rise above that circumstance.
Oh, I love that you asked that. And I want to make it really relevant and real. So it's just been while I've been here in the middle of this pandemic, right? Like loneliness is something that I've struggled with like over and over and over and over. And I was gifted the incredible guidance to listen to 2 books that have made a profound impact for me. And the first one is Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
And the second one is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And, you know,
what was the first one?
The first one is Becoming Supernatural
by
Joe Dispenza. And it's a long one. And I had to like stay committed to it to get through it. But I will tell you that it's changed my life.
Wow.
And
And that's since you've been there in Maui?
Since I've been here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I did start it before, but I mean, I really got into the juice of it and like stayed committed to it. And that's actually been something that I've been challenging myself with a lot lately, is like finish what I start. And even if it's a book, it's like, you know, finish before you move on to the next one, like finish the one that you're on. And so I'm excited about this. I've been finishing things. And so there's another book that it reminded me of, and it's The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Mm-hmm. And the theme that I'll share from this, from those 3 books that have really impacted me, it's the ability to be whole and complete and one, like with yourself and all that is. So, and like specifically with the power of now, it's like being in the present moment is like not dwelling on the past or thinking to the future, right? Because then you're wanting anything other than what is right now. Mm-hmm. And by being appreciative and like seeing the beauty and seeing, like, for me, like I am in like paradise, right? You know, like, and I, like, as much as I would love to have someone to share this with, I get to just fall in love with myself, and all that love that I want to be giving to someone else and want to be giving to my family, I get to just give it to myself. And even though I'm here by myself, it's like, you know, really just like loving up on myself as much as possible and just being complete and being whole and being one with myself. And then finding time, another one that all 3 of those have is like finding time for meditation, which is really the silence, is not trying to like organize your thoughts, but to actually have no thought is really where you come back to the stillness. And that's, I mean, if we're able to do that individually, then the whole planet will be able to do that. And that's where the healing comes in, is in the stillness. And the first step is, you know, making your mind quiet.
Yeah. And that's, you know, I how for so many people, I mean, I'm a mom, I've got, you know, kids and activities, I've got a business, I've got a household, I've got a husband, I've got my own, you know, things that I do out in the world. It's like our life up until now is packed, you know, like it's almost like, and I can tell you this, like the mom badge of honor, like, dun, 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 I'm doing it all. And you know what? Like, who came up with that badge? Like who said I have to run myself into the ground and not stop and not rest? And when I say rest, I mean like connect, you know, like connect back to myself, take time to do nothing. Like I actually say this to 9.5 out of 10 moms, like, well, how, you know, like, when do you have time for yourself, or when do you have time to just do nothing? And they look at me like I have 3 heads. And I really feel like this is such an amazing opportunity. Guess what? You're freaking grounded. Like we're all freaking grounded. Like you get to be with yourself, and you actually get to connect to yourself in a way. We can fill in some time. We people, trust me, I've got clients that are like, I'm busier now than ever. Okay, great. What about slowing down? Like, what about meditating? What about getting still? There's something there, I think, for people that I know for me, like, I was like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Like, that's the biggest crock of shit ever. I mean, it is, especially now.
Yeah. And I think that the biggest invitation is that when you do make time for it, you'll be amazed at how much more time you have, because you're able to make decisions quicker. Things come to you. You ignite your intuitive channel. So like, you know, the answers, so that you're decisive on things. Like new opportunities are being presented to you. New doors are like opening, you know, and I didn't know how I was going to get here to Maui, but I created I want to go live at a retreat center. I don't know how. I don't even know how to find those kinds of jobs. You know what I mean? But like, I stated it, and I continued to say it to people. And then my friend said, "Oh, yeah, I've got an account with this yoga trade, you know, and like, check it out. There's all kinds of retreat centers on there. And then now that I'm here, I've heard about Workaway and Help X. And then there's the Wolfing site. I mean, there's all of these different like sites out there where people are able to go and do work exchanges. Like, who even thought that that was a thing, you know? So
well, it is a thing, and what a great thing it is. And especially now, this is amazing that you've actually created and manifested this opportunity. So what is, I know you said one of your biggest challenges is like right now has been being by yourself, being alone, being solo, is really working on that relationship that you have to yourself. So what is it that you could share, you know, with people listening about how to actually give themselves permission? Because I really do feel like it's like what you walked away from, right? Like back in 2016, what you walked away from was all the things like the job that we covet and the income that we covet and the status that, you know, our culture typically covets. So you walked away from all the things. What can you say about just giving yourself the space to ask the questions that maybe someone isn't considering right now?
It's a choice, right? And one thing that, you know, I feel like I've had this success. I've traveled the world and I've, you know, been really on the like deep, dark, like going down within to find out what truly matters. And I think that you've really teed this up nicely for the free gift that I have for everybody that,
don't talk about it yet. I have one more.
Don't talk about it?
Not yet. No, okay. We'll talk about that after this next question.
Well,
thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you about, but I think it segues into those items as well, right? Because it's all about the holistic look at your life. Like it's not just one way, but it's like looking at all together. How well are you treating you? And you know, filling up your own cup first. Okay,
then go ahead and talk about it because I can just flip flop my last question. So talk about it. It's great.
So something that I'm really passionate about, and like this honestly doesn't have anything to do with the Connection Lounge, which is the project that I'm working on, but this is just a gift that I as I've been taking a deep look at really what I feel are the most important aspects of life, really, is holistic living. And for a long time, I didn't really fully understand what that meant, but it's like the whole self, right? And so there's 7 keys that I've identified that are nutrition, hydration, movement, mindfulness, nature, which it goes great with Earth Day. 6 is contribution, and then 7 is community. And in the PDF, you know, I kind of like go through and highlight each of the different keys and really give you kind of some, you know, tips and things to be thinking about. And like half the time when I create stuff like this, I think, oh, well, this is just like no brainer. Like everybody knows this stuff. But you know what? The truth is that not everybody knows this stuff, and not everybody's keeping it top of mind. And so if anything else, let it be just a reminder to you to come back to yourself and to be looking at the holistic you and in all of those areas. And I will give a shout out to my friend Steph that helped create the document for me.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you. Okay, so I want to ask you this final question, which I ask all my guests. What is the meaning of life? And almost everyone exhales when they...
Really?
Yep. Almost every single one of the people that I have on here.
You know, in a lot of those books that I've been in, this new path that I've been looking at is like, and I'm sure, and I know that this keeps coming up, but it's like we are a spiritual being having a physical experience, right? And like we were meant to come down here to be able to relate and to be able to have this experience. I think that the meaning of life is ultimately to be able to arrive to a place of compassion, to really know truly what it means to be. Like, and that concept was so challenging for me. Like when they brought in that into the transformational space, like doing versus being, I was like, I just don't get it. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And then like, now that I've been doing more and more work around being, right? But I would say like, it's being able to go over the hurdle of doing to really arrive to being. And knowing that you are enough and that you belong and that you're accepted just as you are.
Love it. Okay, love it. Thank you. Everyone that I asked that question to, they literally go, and almost everyone goes, like, you know, it's a deep question. It's a really deep question. And it is worth asking. Like, and I really truly believe, like, you know this and I know this, that is the journey. Like that the journey that we're on is the path to possibly asking that question. And even if it's just for yourself, like, well, what is the meaning of my life? Like, what do I make my life mean? So thank you for answering that question. I love it. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up? Is there anything else you want to leave us with?
Oh, I just want to thank you so much. And to everyone out there, I think the biggest invitation right now is to be looking at what lights you up, right? And following that, right? Like what makes you passionate, and, you know, how can you be in contribution to others and into the, you know, and for the planet, really, you know, as it's our Earth Day, is like, what can you do to contribute to this movement of helping our global home become even stronger and healthier by being, you know, taking the steps towards holistic living for yourself, so that can be a ripple effect into a holistic, thriving, healthy planet for all of us.
And it is a ripple effect. Our lives are, by their very nature, ripple effects. Like, you impact me, I impact you. And when we are awake to the impact, that's when we really have power. And when we can come together, that's when it's like exponential. So, JourneyJill, I honor you. I thank you. I love you. You are like a divine human being. You are a blessing in my life, my family's life, my family. I was like, I get to interview JourneyJill tomorrow. And Ryan was like, oh, really? So my family says hello. We love you. And thank you so much. To get JourneyJill's 7 keys of, is it called 7 keys to holistic living?
Yeah.
Great. Go to soulwitandwisdom.com and you will see her offering there. I thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for coming onto the show.
I love you. Thank you.
Awesome. And thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.